Hello everybody, nice to see you. This is Rich Wyman, hope you're doing well. Today we're doing the very first installation of a new feature on Patreon, and we're calling it Walking Through a Song. So we have a brand new song called Frontline, and to start this I'm going to show you how I went about writing this song. So I sat down here at Woody, which is what we're now calling our old wooden piano, and I was kind of doing like one of my Monday morning improvs, and I just started going like this, how I sometimes start writing a song. Kind of like that. The interesting thing here is the bass line. Bass line became like the hook for me. It really grabbed me. I really liked that. But then so I sat and just played around with this. I kind of improvised on that, and then I knew the song had to go somewhere. I went up here to the D, and I added this kind of flourishing thing. That's how the music was created for Frontline. At that point, all I had was two very different musical ideas. And now I'm going to show you what I did with that next. Hi again. Well, now we're upstairs in my little studio here, and continuing the story of Frontline. So I got my keyboards hooked up here. So that piano part that right? So now I'm playing it on the electric keyboards into my software. So I recorded the track, and this is what the piano track sounds like. When I hit play, coming back through the speakers, you'll hear the piano track that I just laid down. It's kind of a rough piano. So I just sat and listened to this. And I started singing. Some of you may know the story of my cousin Jody, who passed away from the coronavirus. This music touched me in some way. That inspired me to sing about Jody. And I just started singing, Jody, she loved music, she loved to sing. And I was like, I like that. And then I got to the chorus, and when I got to the chorus of the song, I started thinking about the nurses, doctors, on the front lines. But out on the front lines, they're saving every life they can. Out here on the front lines. So I had, again, the two distinct ideas. So I thought, okay, I want to make the verse about people like my cousin who've passed away from the coronavirus. And I want the chorus to be about the people that are out on the front lines working so hard to keep us all safe and alive. So I remembered there was an article in the New York Times, and this is a very different way to go about writing songs. I don't always do this. I went online and I looked up the New York Times. And the New York Times article was about when the United States crossed the threshold of 100,000 deaths from coronavirus, an incalculable loss. And I have it right here. So this is the front page of the New York Times with all of the names of people And if you go onto the New York Times website, you can actually go into an interactive feature of the article and click on different names of different people. And there's a little story about each of these real names and real people. So I wrote down dozens of names, and I wrote down little stories about each of these names of people that have actually died from the coronavirus. And I had a whole page of them. And I put them into a Word document, and I started singing along, and some of them fit better than others, and I eventually whittled it down to 10 names, including my cousin. They made that section of the verses. Then the other thing is the chorus. So I called a friend of mine who is a healthcare worker, and I said, I'm writing this song. What can you tell me? And he told me several key things about people on the front lines. They don't have the supplies that they need. They don't have the masks they need. They don't have the ventilators they need. They don't have the equipment they need here in the United States. That became part of the chorus. The other thing he said was they're working ridiculous hours every day of the week. Some people are working 36-hour shifts. So that became part of the chorus. So I took the next thing I do when I write a song is I come up with something, a groove. So that's the next thing I'm going to talk about. So, loops. For those of you who don't know what the loops are basically a drum pattern. So I went in and I've got tons of different loops in my recording software. And I played around with dozens of them until I came up with one that I really liked. And this is what I use. So this became the drums for the song. And it goes like this. This is what you're going to hear in a second. This is a drum loop that plays throughout the song. So when you come up with the drum loop that fits the mood, it fits the style, it fits where you want to go with the song, this is what it sounds like. Pretty cool. Pretty massive. So that's what that is. So I came up with the loop. Once I come up with the loop I like, then I've got to redo the piano track to play along with the loop. So then I went back, and here we are. I redid the piano track to go along with the loop, and this is what that sounds like. Oops, I forgot to unmute it. All right, here it is. Unmute, and now I play that. So here's the piano. And I decided to fade in the loop, and you can do that with the software. So here it comes. I've got the loop, and I've got a piano track I played to the loop. Next thing you do is you lay down a scratch vocal. So I put down a lead vocal that I'm not going to keep, that I know I'm not going to keep, because I just wanted to get the phrasing of where the vocal's going to sit in the song. I erased that, because it's just a scratch vocal. It's not something you keep. The next thing I did is I laid down the bass tracks. I came up with a really cool fretless bass sound in my keyboard. And the bass line, like I said, is very important. So I have 3 different basses. I'm going to unmute all the bass tracks now. So now you're going to hear the piano, the drum loop, and the bass. Bass. So now we've got, that's the track. You got the piano, you got the drums, you got the bass. And I wanted to keep it simple, so that's all I added. I didn't add a bunch of strings, guitars, horns, synthesizers, organs. I wanted the song to be sparse for now. Remember, this is just a demo. We're still in the demo phase.
And also, we're not recording with any of our band members.
Right. This is just to build a basic sketch, you might say. It's kind of a sketch drawing of what the song is going to sound like. The next thing we did is Lisa's vocal. And this part's really cool.
La 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 la.
So for Lisa's vocals, we have lots of tracks. We had Lisa first, we came up with parts, we laid down the parts, and then we doubled every part, and then we added harmony parts, all kinds of cool stuff. So let's unmute Lisa's vocals and listen to the track, and now you're going to hear what it sounds like just with the background vocals. We have 8, 10, 12. We have 12 tracks of just Lisa's voice. I'm going to fast forward a little bit so we get into the song and we get up to where her voice comes in, which is at the chorus. No, it's actually not at the chorus. I take that back. Lisa's voice comes in before the chorus. You ready? Here we go. Here she comes. Okay, so now you heard Lisa's vocals, and the last thing is my lead vocal, which I added, and I spent quite a few hours just getting my lead vocal till I felt it was right. Then I spent a whole day mixing, just getting everything, EQing it, sound effects, everything. The finished result of the demo is this, and this whole thing took over a week, but this is the finished. Loved music, she loved to sing. Steven, he loved to run, he loved to swim. Of course, but out here on the front lines, don't have what we need over on the front lines. Day of every week, out here on the front lines. There is no time to sleep. We say stay awake, stay safe, stay strong, stay alive. So there you have it. That is walking you through a song from sitting down at the piano to write it to coming up here in the studio and recording a demo. Now this is just still the beginning, because what we do now is we send the demo off to the studio engineer, co-producer. We send it off to all the different musicians, the drummer, the bass player, the guitar player, the band. They all listen to it, they learn it, and the next step is going to be actually going in the recording studio and recording with the band. So this is a new thing we're doing. We hope you liked it. It's called Walking Through a Song. Thank you all so much for your support. We love you. Goodbye. I forgot to show you my favorite part of the song. Lisa said, wouldn't it be cool if we could get an ambulance siren? So I went on YouTube and I was able to record an ambulance siren into the song, and it sounds like this. Stay alive. So check it out. When you get the full song, I was thinking guitar solo, saxophone solo, the ambulance solo.